What if retirement didn't feel like downsizing? What if it felt like breathing again? Not cutting back, not giving things up, but waking up in a place where the mornings are quiet, where the air feels softer, and where your time finally belongs to you. Because for many people today, retirement doesn't look peaceful, it looks expensive. Rising healthcare costs that seem to climb every year, property taxes that never really disappear, groceries, insurance, utilities quietly increasing in the background. And even when you slow down, the world around you still feels rushed, loud, demanding. There's also that quiet question most people don't say out loud. If I move abroad, will I understand what's happening around me? Will I feel lost in translation? Will I always feel like an outsider trying to catch up? That fear alone keeps many retirees exactly where they are, even when staying no longer feels sustainable. But here's what often gets overlooked. There are still places in the world where English is spoken naturally, not just in tourist zones, but in daily life. Places where conversations are easy, where paperwork doesn't feel intimidating, where you can walk into a clinic, a cafe, or a local market and feel understood. Places where life moves slower, where meals last longer, where neighbors still talk, and where the rhythm of the day feels human again. And in many of these places, your money stretches further than you think. In this video, we're counting down 5 countries where retirement can feel realistic, not like a glossy brochure fantasy, but like a plan you could actually consider. We'll look at realistic monthly living budgets, the visa pathways retirees genuinely use, and what everyday life really feels like once you arrive. No hype, no escape fantasy, just real possibilities. Because maybe retirement isn't about shrinking your life. Maybe it's about choosing a place where it finally has room to expand. 5. Panama, the most established English-friendly retirement hub in Latin America. Imagine a morning in Boquete. A thin layer of mist lingers over rolling green coffee farms. The air is cool and clean, carrying the scent of damp earth after an evening rain. You're sitting on your terrace with a cup of locally grown coffee, listening to birds instead of traffic. Here, mornings don't rush you. No horns, no packed schedules, just mountains breeze and the quiet feeling that life has slowed down in a way that feels natural. Or maybe you prefer the ocean. In Coronado, the rhythm shifts. Oceanfront condos, balconies facing endless blue water sunsets that stretch across the horizon in shades of gold and orange. You walk along the beach in the evening and begin recognizing familiar faces, other retirees who quietly chose this place years ago and never left. Panama isn't a trendy new discovery. It's a destination that has been tested by time. When it comes to language, this is one of the easiest places in Latin America to settle. In established expat areas, English is widely spoken. You can order food, discuss a lease, or speak with a doctor without feeling lost. Private hospitals and major clinics often have English-speaking staff. And because retiree communities have been here for decades, there's a sense of structure and familiarity instead of uncertainty. Cost of living is one of the biggest reasons people stay. Many retirees live comfortably on around $1,700 to $2,500 per month, depending on lifestyle and location. Outside Panama City, costs can be even lower. Utilities are generally affordable. Domestic help, if desired, is significantly less expensive than in the US or Europe. It's not about living extravagantly, it's about living without constant financial pressure. Panama is also known for its Pensionado visa, one of the most retiree-friendly programs in the world. The main requirement is proof of stable pension income. In return, retirees receive meaningful discounts on utilities, transportation, entertainment, and healthcare. It's not just a residency permit. It's a system intentionally designed to welcome retirees in a practical way. Why does Panama work so well? Strong infrastructure, stable banking, And because it uses the US dollar, there's no currency exchange stress. That brings a level of financial predictability that matters deeply in retirement. Of course, no place is perfect. Humidity can be high, especially during the rainy season. Bureaucracy can move slowly and requires patience. Panama City traffic can be heavy during peak hours. But for many retirees, those trade-offs feel manageable compared to the ease of daily life. Panama isn't about starting over. It's about simplifying what you already know and living it more lightly. 4. Grenada, the Caribbean island. Few retirees talk about. There are beaches in Grenada where you can walk for hours and barely see another person. No massive cruise ships anchored offshore. No waves of passengers pouring into town for a few rushed hours before disappearing again. Just gentle surf, warm white sand beneath your feet, and palm trees moving quietly in the breeze. The Caribbean here isn't loud. It's slow. And that slowness doesn't come from underdevelopment. It comes from the absence of spectacle. Grenada moves to a different rhythm than its more famous neighbors. Mornings begin with soft sunlight and salt in the air. Locals greet each other on the road. Small markets sell fruit picked that morning. The atmosphere feels more like a community than a destination. You don't feel processed. You feel present. Language here is simple in the best way. English is the official language used in government schools, legal documents, and daily conversation. You don't need to learn a new language just to handle paperwork or schedule a doctor's appointment. You can speak, ask questions, and live your routine without the subtle anxiety of translation. For many retirees, that ease matters more than they expect. Living costs in Grenada are relatively reasonable for a Caribbean island. Many retirees spend around $1,800 to $2,700 per month, depending on lifestyle and location. Rent is generally lower than in Barbados. Imported goods can be a bit more expensive, but local produce, fresh fish, tropical fruit, vegetables remains accessible. It's not a luxury destination in the traditional sense. It's a place where you can live comfortably without constant financial strain. In terms of residency, Grenada offers long-stay options and maintains policies that are relatively friendly to retirees with stable income. The country is also known for its citizenship by investment program, not a path everyone chooses, but a sign that the government actively welcomes foreign residents who plan to stay long-term. What truly sets Grenada apart is its sense of safety and community. This is a place where people know each other, where you can slowly become part of the local rhythm rather than standing on the outside. It's tropical sun-sea rainforest, but not overly commercialized. Not a resort bubble, but a small society moving at its own pace. Of course, there are trade-offs. High-end medical care is limited, and some residents travel abroad for specialized treatment. The expat community is smaller than in more well-known destinations, so if you're looking for a large built-in social circle of foreigners, Grenada may feel quieter than expected. But for those seeking genuine simplicity without noise, without performance, Grenada offers something rare. Grenada feels like the Caribbean before it became a brand. 3. Thailand. Not officially English-speaking, but surprisingly easy. The day in Chiang Mai often begins with the soft echo of temple bells drifting through the morning air. Monks in saffron robes walk quietly along the streets as shopkeepers roll up their shutters. The scent of grilled rice and fresh herbs rises from small food stalls setting up for the day. You sit at a cafe tucked into an old teakwood building, coffee in hand, watching the city wake up slowly. There is movement, but it isn't hurried. Conversations linger. People smile easily. The rhythm feels measured, unforced. Thailand has a way of easing you into its pace. Whether it's the mountain air in the north, the tropical coastlines in the south, or the steady hum of Bangkok's skyline, life here feels layered rather than overwhelming. Retirees often describe a subtle shift that happens after a few weeks, the sense that time stretches again. Officially, Thailand is not an English-speaking country, but in practice, especially in established expat hubs like Chiang Mai, Bangkok, Phuket, and Pattaya, English is widely used. Restaurants, real estate agents, banks, and service providers are accustomed to foreign residents. In private hospitals and major clinics, doctors and staff commonly speak English fluently, and Thailand's healthcare system has built an international reputation for serving global patients. The younger generation, particularly in urban areas, often speaks English with confidence, making everyday interactions smoother than many expect. Cost of living is one of the strongest reasons retirees consider Thailand. Many live comfortably on $1,200 to $2,200 per month, depending on location and lifestyle. Food is remarkably affordable. Fresh markets, street vendors, and local restaurants offer meals at a fraction of Western prices. Modern condominiums with pools, security, and city views are often available for far less than comparable housing back home. It's possible to design a lifestyle that feels vibrant and full without constant financial calculation. For those over 50, Thailand offers a retirement visa option that allows long-term stays. The requirements typically involve proof of income or a set bank deposit within Thailand. While the process requires documentation and planning, it has become a well-traveled path for many foreign retirees who have chosen to settle here for years. Healthcare quality is another defining strength. Private hospitals in cities like Bangkok are internationally accredited, modern, and efficient. Appointments are often easier to schedule, and costs remain significantly lower than in many Western countries. Combined with strong infrastructure, reliable internet, accessible transportation, international airports, daily life feels functional as well as affordable. Thailand also offers choice. Some retirees prefer the cooler mountain climate of Chiang Mai. Others gravitate toward island life with turquoise water and sea breezes. And some settle in Bangkok, embracing the energy of a global city while enjoying its conveniences. Few countries offer this range within one national border. There are practical considerations. Retirement visas require periodic renewals and careful compliance with regulations. Outside major cities and expat areas, English usage becomes less common, which can require patience and adaptability. Yet for many retirees, these aspects become part of the rhythm rather than obstacles. Thailand isn't English by law, but for many retirees it feels effortless anyway. 2. Costa Rica. Stability, nature, and familiar comfort. Sunsets in Costa Rica arrive slowly and deeply. The sun lowers into the Pacific, painting the sky in layers of soft orange, pink, and violet. You stand on the beach, sand still warm beneath your feet, listening to the steady rhythm of the waves, almost like the ocean breathing. No one seems in a hurry to leave. People linger as if the moment deserves a little more time. Away from the coastline, smaller rural towns move at a different pace. Family-owned cafes open early. Neighbors greet each other along quiet streets. Traffic feels lighter. The air carries the scent of greenery and damp earth after afternoon rain. Here people often say, pura vida. It's more than a phrase, it's a philosophy. A quiet acknowledgement that life, when simple and balanced, is already enough. Costa Rica is not officially English-speaking, but in established expat regions like Tamarindo, Atenas, Escazú, and parts of the Central Valley, English is commonly heard. Many businesses are accustomed to serving international residents. Larger private hospitals often operate bilingually. And because North American retirees have been settling here for decades, you won't feel alone in the transition. Social groups, clubs, and informal support networks have formed over time, creating a soft landing for newcomers. Monthly living costs typically range from $1,800 to $2,800 depending on location and lifestyle. In smaller towns, housing and local food can be reasonably priced. Healthcare is well regarded in the region, and medical services are significantly more affordable than in the United States. Imported goods, however, can cost more, especially if you prefer foreign brands. Many retirees gradually shift toward local produce, tropical fruits, fresh vegetables, and seafood, discovering that the adjustment often feels healthier as well as economical. For residency, Costa Rica offers the pensionado visa for those with stable pension income, along with the rentista option for individuals who can demonstrate reliable passive income. The process is relatively straightforward, though paperwork can be detailed and requires patience. Still, it is a path many have followed successfully. One of the reasons Costa Rica feels reassuring is its long-standing political stability. The country abolished its standing army decades ago, redirecting resources toward healthcare and education. Environmental preservation is woven into the national identity. Rainforests, volcanoes, and coastlines are protected not as attractions alone, but as part of the country's core values. That balance between development and conservation shapes daily life. There are practical realities. The rainy season can be intense, particularly in certain coastal regions. Infrastructure varies from one area to another, and travel times can be longer than expected. Yet many retirees find that these aspects don't diminish the essence of life here. They simply reflect a place where nature still sets the pace. Costa Rica feels less like escaping and more like recalibrating. 1. United Arab Emirates, the unexpected English retirement base. When most people imagine retirement, they picture a quiet beach town or a sleepy European village. The United Arab Emirates rarely enters that conversation. And yet, for a certain kind of retiree, it quietly makes sense. This is not a rustic escape. It's ultra-modern. Glass towers reflecting desert sunsets. Wide, spotless boulevards. Public spaces that feel organized and intentional. Cities like Dubai and Abu Dhabi move with precision, clean, structured, efficient. There's a feeling here that systems work, that rules are clear, that daily life operates smoothly, and in retirement that kind of predictability can feel like relief. English is used everywhere, not occasionally consistently. In government offices, banks, hospitals, supermarkets, restaurants. Business is conducted in English. Healthcare consultations happen in English. The UAE's population is deeply international, which means conversations shift naturally between cultures. You don't feel like a foreigner navigating someone else's system. You feel like part of a global community where English is the common ground. Cost of living in the UAE varies by lifestyle, but many retirees spend between $2,500 and $4,000 per month. Rent is typically the largest expense, especially in prime areas of Dubai or Abu Dhabi. Yet there's no income tax, no capital gains tax for residents. That simplicity appeals to retirees who value financial clarity. You may pay more for housing, but you avoid layers of taxation that exist elsewhere. For those over 55, the UAE offers a retirement visa program. Requirements usually include property ownership of a certain value or proof of stable income or savings. It's structured, transparent, and designed for long-term residents who want stability rather than uncertainty. Why does this option resonate with some retirees? Safety is a major factor. The UAE consistently ranks among the safest countries in the world. Walking at night feels comfortable. Public spaces are monitored and orderly. There is a strong sense of security woven into daily life. Healthcare is another cornerstone. Hospitals are modern, internationally accredited, and staffed by global medical professionals. Appointments are efficient. Facilities are advanced. For retirees who prioritize access to high-level medical care, this matters. And then there's geography. The UAE is a global travel hub. Within a few hours' flight, you can reach Europe, Asia, or Africa. Many retirees use the UAE as a base, spending part of the year there, while traveling to neighboring countries with lower living costs or cooler climates. It becomes less of a final destination and more of a strategic anchor. Of course, the desert climate shapes daily life. Summers are intensely hot, encouraging indoor living for part of the year, and the atmosphere doesn't resemble the traditional retirement postcard of rocking chairs and small-town familiarity. The skyline replaces the village square. The desert replaces farmland. Yet for some retirees, peace doesn't come from rustic scenery. It comes from order, from safety, from knowing how the system works and trusting it to function. For some retirees, peace doesn't mean rural. It means predictable. Retirement isn't just about cost. It's about language. It's about feeling understood without effort, without rehearsing sentences in your head before you speak. It's walking into a cafe, ordering your coffee, and not having to translate your life. It's being able to explain a medical concern clearly. It's laughing at a joke in real time. It's signing a lease, opening a bank account, or asking for directions without that quiet tension in your chest. Because retirement isn't only a financial decision, it's an emotional one. It's choosing a place where conversations feel natural, where mornings feel slower, where your routines feel lighter instead of heavier, where the noise fades just enough for you to hear yourself think again. Yes, budgets matter. Monthly numbers matter. Visa requirements matter. But beyond the spreadsheets, there's something more subtle, the feeling you get when a place fits, when the air feels breathable, when time stretches instead of compresses. So the question isn't just where is it cheapest? The question is, where does life feel lighter? Where do you wake up and feel less pressure? Where do you walk outside and feel less rushed? Where do you speak and feel fully understood? If one of these countries surprised you, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear which one felt the most possible, not just on paper, but in your gut. And if you're seriously exploring retirement abroad, consider subscribing. Because the world is wider than most people think, and sometimes the life you're looking for isn't gone. It's just somewhere else.